Just a friendly reminder to subscribe with notifications if you aren't already in order to make sure you get content like this in the future. Additionally, down in the description below, you can find a link to this game on the Xbox store. Using it will help out the channel.
Macca's Guides.
Hey guys, Macca here with a 100% full game walkthrough for a game called The Bradwell Conspiracy. This is a first-person puzzle type game, recently released, and it can be an easy 1000 gamer score. I believe it's also on the PlayStation. Not 100% sure if it has a platinum trophy. I'll leave a comment in the YouTube description about that. This game can be done in about 2 hours. Whatever the length of the video is how long it's going to take us today. You can go to the graphics. I'm going to slightly increase my field of view and slightly increase my brightness as it'll look better for you guys who watch. In my controls, I will invert the y-axis for myself, and we will start a new game. Now, I am playing this game in chunks. You'll obviously just watch it in one solid video. But the achievements or trophies aren't too bad at all. There are a lot of collectibles, including what I believe 44 or 45 emails. However, there's only 10 computers or so. Each computer has 4 emails. There's also 20 books we'll need to collect, as well as voice memos. There are 10 voice memos also found on the computers. There's a couple of missable things as well. Some kind of specific puzzle type achievements or trophies. And then there's just a couple of progression ones. This is a puzzle game, and on your first attempt, it could take you 3 or 4 hours. I'm going to show you everything in hopefully under 2. We started a new game, and yeah. Drop a like on the video if you're waiting for the game to start. I would really appreciate the, the support. I know you guys love the full game walkthrough series, and I'm really excited to be back with an actual, good game that is worth your time and money, and not just a garbage 20-minute game of sorts. So it's exciting. It's exciting to see games like this back on the ID at Xbox program. Now, the idea behind this game is that you kind of wake up in this facility. You don't know what's going on, and you don't have the ability to talk because your vocal cords have been damaged. So just press forward on the left stick to move. You're going to look with the right stick. Walk with the left stick. You can sprint, and then I'll introduce other mechanics as we play. For some reason, the frame rate in this first area is really bad. After you walk around, you will have to go into this circle in order to progress to the next section. The frame rate in this first area is really bad, but it only lasts about 8 minutes maybe. We'll sprint forward to the next area. We'll click in the right stick to crouch to go to the next area in here. We'll then walk forward and go down the stairs. I will be sprinting when possible. If I'm going too fast in the video at any point, feel free to go and watch the video on YouTube on the full browser experience. And you can actually slow down the gameplay to 75% if you think that's better for you. At the bottom of the stairs, you'll notice that the doors are locked behind us, and what will happen is there will be some dialogue. There's some dialogue that we can't really skip too much. Eventually, it'll tell us to press Y to launch our activity feed. Here you can see what you've done, what you need to do, and you'll also have some clues. After we close that, we will establish a connection. This beam will fall, and it'll allow us to now move forward to the next area. We're basically going to be sprinting through this next area. Crouch under the rocks. Stand up and then sprint forward and go into the exhibition hall. Keep to the left up the stairs. This beam in front of us will fall, and then we'll walk up it in order to get to the next area. Go through the north wing door and turn left to go down the stairs. I'm sprinting the whole time. You can obviously not, but once you click it, it is a toggle, so you click it and you just keep sprinting. Go all the way to the bottom of the stairs. And then just hook around to your right, crouch under, and keep going into the exhibition hall north wing. On the opposite side is the south wing, so make your way all the way to the opposite side door. There are little booklets and stuff you can pick up here if you want the game to last longer, if you want to learn a little bit of backstory. We're going to be pretty much skipping anything that isn't required for achievements or trophies or collectibles or 100%. You'll reach the South Wing and you will meet up with Amber, who will be our partner throughout the most part of the game. We can't talk, but we can take pictures for Amber, and then Amber can help us out by either switching doors for us or interacting with items. We don't actually get to really see her too much in the game, but she kind of just exists in other sections of the map from us.
The suspense nearly killed me. You okay?
Visitor is unable to answer.
So this is kind of a little bit of a tutorial for how this section works. You're going to get basically your photo mode installed into your head. You can take the photos. They get sent to Amber. When Amber sees the photos, she replies accordingly. So you can take a picture of a door and she'll either give you a hint on how to open it, or you can take a picture of a computer and maybe she'll tell you that you need to use it. It's actually a pretty cool game in that regard, and when I was streaming this on Twitch, the developers of the game were actually in my chat, and they said there was over 3,500 lines of text or lines of dialogue in the game, which is a lot. So I was actually surprised by it. You could take a picture of literally anything and she'll have something to say about it.
Are you kidding me?
Feel free to pay attention to the story as well. I would highly recommend it. As you can see, I do have subtitles on. It's a pretty cool story. It's nothing like revolutionary, but probably worth your time. So now we have the ability to take photos. You take photos with RB. They will send and be delivered, and then eventually Amber will see them and respond.
Your photos will be instantly sent to connected friends and family. Snap and share.
Okay, get that great eye on the door controls.
Take a picture of the door controls.
Shoot.
The ground will now shake, and it'll reveal a new door for us. So turn around and go to the left into maintenance.
Great.
Once in maintenance, go up the stairs on the right-hand side. You'll see 3 fuse boxes, and take a picture of all 3 fuse boxes.
Go look around and send me photos if you find anything.
If you're in the middle of some dialogue, the photo won't be automatically seen, so you just have to wait for some dialogue to go by before you get a chance. Open all 3 of these, and make sure all the lights are green. So just press the red buttons. That'll turn everything on. We can go back to the South Wing door now.
Lit up like a cheap bar on St. Patrick's Day. Hurry back so I can see what's up with the panel.
When the panel's fully red, just take a picture of it.
Huh. Yeah, it's doing the same here.
Now we're going to have a small puzzle where basically Amber on the other side sees a certain pattern and you see a certain pattern. You got to just find the one square on the keypad that doesn't have a light on both of the patterns. It is the same every time, and it's not hard by any means, but it is maybe a little counterintuitive on how you're supposed to figure it out. So I see these 4 lights don't have any lights. Now I'm going to get a picture, and I have to figure out in the picture I was just sent which light of the 4 on mine that aren't lit up is also not lit up on this photo. It is the same every time. So for the first one, it is the bottom right-hand corner. For the second one, I'm just going to figure it out again. I actually forgot exactly which one it is. So it's going to be this third one on the last row.
Just one more and we're out of here.
And then for the last one, it is third column, third row.
What's going... Oh.
And unfortunately, it's a video game. The door doesn't open. We fall through the ground instead. You will unlock an achievement here or trophy just for kind of completing the first section of the game. From here on out, the frame rate is also a lot better. This is a really enjoyable game. If you do want to get your money's worth and play through the game once on your own and then do a mop-up run, you can do that. You will have to play the entire game in its entirety from front to back, as there is no chapter select, which is kind of a little bit unfortunate, I guess. Alright, press forward on the left stick in order to stand up.
Bradwell, Amesbury Research and Development. Security will arrive shortly to escort you to a secure area.
You can explore around here. You're actually supposed to kind of look around for a bit We're just going to kind of run straight for the objective, which is the train station door.
No. I cannot.
As soon as you're at the top of the stairs, take a picture of the train station door. The picture will end up just saying it's being delivered in the top left corner until all of the dialogue at the bottom of the screen is exhausted.
Good, but we really have to get out of here right now.
Also, one thing I'm going to go and do is I'm going to go to the options and I'm going to turn off head bob. I didn't realize how annoying that was.
There's a train station.
I prefer, my head not to move around the screen the whole time.
I crashed into some offices, so gotta find a way down first. Huh? It's sealed off.
So now that she received the photo of the train station, we can move forward to the left. And what we want to do is go into this room. It actually isn't marked. I guess it's the transport office. Go inside of the transport office and take a picture of these two computer or TV screens in the back right corner.
Well, you heard the AI. Looks like it's up to us to look around.
Once everything's exhausted, it should be delivered, and the next piece of dialogue will start. Actually, just take a picture of this emergency broadcast then. I guess that one didn't work.
Oh, look. The medical evac system is still online.
Usually it works if you take a picture of both, but I guess we just had to zoom in a little bit. Once she gets the emergency broadcast, she'll ask you to tell her what the elevator situation is. So just take a picture of this elevator where it says lifts in lockdown.
Lifts are locked. Guide, what does that mean?
At this point, we can actually just leave this office and go to the room directly below us. So as we exit, turn to the right. You can go to left, or there's actually like 10 ways to get there, but we'll go down the stairs.
Okay. Judging by the map, that's very
And we will go into the room, which is the induction reception.
Oh, I have an idea. We're going to upgrade you from a trespass.
You do have to wait for the dialogue for everything to trigger properly.
On the map, see induction reception.
Obviously, the experience of playing this game when you know everything is a lot different. Go into the induction reception and take a picture.
Oh, cool. You found the
figuring this all out in real time is a lot different and a lot more enjoyable. Once you take a picture of the reception, go to this desk next to the vending machine and wait at this little notepad. As soon as you can interact with the notepad, interact with it and then take a picture of it. You basically need an ID of someone who can access the facilities. So this is someone who will be given their glasses pretty soon. So we're going to basically hack the machine to get their glasses.
Clean water and energy research.
Okay. Unfortunately, not a medical profile, but, well, it'll have to do for now. Go pick it up.
Pick up the glasses. And then the door in the room right here called Employee Induction should open up for you. And then through this door is basically our tutorial.
Please wait while we prepare the compulsory Bradwell new employee induction.
Okay, I'm gonna go get the elevators.
Again, in the full game walkthroughs, I sometimes talk a lot, especially in puzzle games. So I'm very sorry if you hate my voice or whatever. Feel free to mute the video if you'd rather just use the visual guide and not have to listen to me. But I know some of you guys enjoy the commentary and enjoy, what I have to add. So hopefully you like it. Go inside the movie theater, sit down, and then watch the screen. As soon as you sit down, you can stand up, but you do have to wait for this entire video to conclude, and then the door on the right-hand side of the room will open.
Pat yourself on the back. You are the best of the very best in your field.
Oh God, it's worse than I remembered.
This, the R&D Amesbury, is Bradwell's newest facility. Your work here is classified and vital, finding solutions to many modern-day issues for both Bradwell Electronics and the Bradwell Foundation. If the world needs it, we can make it happen here. Research and development is headed by Melissa Bradwell, daughter of John Bradwell, founder of Bradwell Electronics. Both father and daughter have worked tirelessly to affect positive...
This gives you a lot of good backstory, by the way, so I'd probably recommend you just kind of pay a little bit of attention to it. Yeah.
Revolutionary material. Bradwellium, more simply known as substance, is the next advancement in material sciences. Programmable matter. Bradwellium has already been fundamental in the development of a game-changing piece of technology.
Oh, this is my...
The Substance Mobile Printer, a device which allows for the instant fabrication of objects. Yes, matter transfiguration, no longer a thing of science fiction. The SMP uses substance to print any type
Yeah,
of
basically you have a replicator gun. You can pick up blueprints, and then you can print the blueprints that you have, assuming you have enough substance for you to be able to create the item you have.
No turning back now. Time to leap into the weird world of material sciences. I'm gonna go unlock these elevators. For real this time.
Exit to your right and proceed to the testing area.
All right, this is the kind of more big tutorial. Press the button on the left.
For the creators of tomorrow,
It'll open up the case on the right where you can pick up your SMP, Substance Mobile Printer. Press A on it.
featuring the substance printing technology. Please take the SMP. Let's learn how we reclaim an item made of substance and then print.
So this is the point of the game where you're going to learn the controls.
This is the gateway to your potential, and this is the key of determination. As the first step, please reclaim the key using the SMP.
So press X on anything to basically erase it into your SMP. If it's a blueprintable item, it'll become a blueprint. If it's just substance, it'll just basically be substance. You can see in the bottom left corner, you have the blue thing is the blueprint, and then the yellow thing is the amount of units you have to create that item. Use LB to take out your gun, your replicator gun, and you can print the key. You will have to put the key into the door for it to print properly, but it won't work until the tutorial kind of stops talking for a little bit. Once the item is green, that means the location it's in is good to go. You can press A in order to print it, and it'll open up the door for you. In this room, there's the left and the right, so open up the left side bricks and the right side lock. And then take all the substance, so the 2 bricks on the left, and take the lock on the right. As soon as you're able to open up the dog and the cat, I believe we have to wait until the voice of God basically allows us to do that.
For security and copyright reasons, some substance items have their blueprints locked. Your guide interface will let you know if a substance item is locked.
All right, so we're going to open up both of these, and we're going to get a blueprint for a dog named Troy and a cat named Shelly. At this point, there's a personality test. We have to create 6 of them, and there's 2 different achievements you can get here. So we're going to start off by making 5 cats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Make sure you put 1 on each of the buttons, and then create 1 dog. You'll get the achievement called Cat Lover. At this point, just return to the main menu, and then continue your game, and you'll be able to redo this tutorial and select the opposite option. So we're gonna select dog in order to get the Dog Lover achievement. If for some reason this is somehow patched or it doesn't work in your game because of an update, just replay, finish the game and then replay the first 15 minutes in order to choose the other option as your last achievement. Again, I want to be able to make sure you guys get everything in one play, so we're going to now do the opposite.
We need at least 1 of each animal printed for our patented bias weighting, so pick and print. Shelly the cat and Troy the dog will do the rest. For security and copyright reasons, some substance items have their blueprints locked. Your guide interface will let you know if a substance item is locked. This is refined Bradwellium, or substance brick, ready to be reclaimed by the SMP. No blueprints from one of these, sadly.
All right, take the dog, take the cat. This time we're going to do the opposite of what we did, so we'll do 5 dogs.
The SMP is able to store multiple blueprints. Change the active blueprint with the Change Blueprint button. Your SMP can print on... Don't worry that you haven't printed Shelly yet. She doesn't care about you either.
And 1 cat.
Well done.
Make sure they're sitting on the buttons. And there is our opposite achievement called Dog Lover. Once you do finish this tutorial section, the door will open here on the right-hand side.
Good luck on the next section.
And we kind of get our first taste of the game.
You know what cats are like. When
More
you're
in depth, that
ready,
is.
go to the next section.
In this next room, you do want to make sure you pick up the 3 bricks.
Where things often
And then a lot of the blueprints look like this, so make sure you install that blueprint. This is the puzzle piece blueprint. We just have to recreate the puzzle on the right to match the puzzle on the left. This just teaches us to rotate certain blocks, so use the left trigger to rotate the blocks to match the other picture.
Well done. You have near perfect rotational problem-solving skills.
And this should open up door D13.
Solving skills. Feel free to quote that on your favorite dating app.
We are now in the NDA room. Another cool fact the devs shared when they were in my Twitch stream before this video was filmed is that there's an actual NDA written on the walls, and it is a legitimate NDA written by an actual lawyer. And they said they would definitely recommend not signing this NDA. But I thought that was a little kind of cool tidbit of information. Maybe some of you guys might think is you know, just a fun little Easter egg.
That doesn't sound good.
You gotta wait for all the dialogue here to go through. We're gonna take a picture of D14,
Help with that door?
and she should
Hold
open
on,
it for
let me
us.
grab my tablet. Okay, I have to find a way to override D14 without you doing all the circle stuff. D14. D14. Where are you, D14? Induction control program. That's what we need. Is this taking a long time? Maybe it just feels that way, but... Oh, here it is. Ta-da!
Nice.
I have near perfect...
All right, so we're gonna go down the stairs
Now,
after
drop out with
D14
pros or cons on a dating profile.
through the
All
door.
right, back to these
We are now in our first kind of little puzzle area. It's not too bad. We're gonna take the 2 universal traversal blocks,
Well done.
and we're just gonna traverse our way through the platforms.
Oh,
So,
and remember,
take out your
you can
blocks.
rotate substance objects with the SMP. I mean,
Make
I'm
sure
not
you
trying
take
to
out
say
the
you
traversal
forgot,
block,
just-
use the left trigger
Anyway,
to
good luck
rotate.
crossing the lava.
You will have to connect a block to a block, and make sure you don't stand on the block until it's fully formed. And then once you're across, you have to bring your blocks with you. They do kind of stack in a way, meaning like in this case, you can't erase this first block without erasing the second block first, because the second block is on top of the first block. Hopefully that makes sense. It's really not too bad. You're just creating yourself some platforms to get across. And then making sure to pull the platforms with you.
You are so close. Falling into the lava now would be such a huge disappointment. Troy and Shelley think so too.
And once you're across, the frame rate will tank, but then right after that, you'll be able to go through the door here.
Ugh, my jokes are better than that.
All right, we're now in the puzzle room. First thing you want to do is take the 3 bricks from the left. We need the substance. And then we want to take all of the blocks that aren't locked off the ground. We do get a blueprint for straight lines, and then we get a blueprint for corner tiles. What we need to do, this sounds really complicated. It's not. We need to connect all of these items in the order of the year they were invented. So the first thing that was invented here is the Bradwell color TV, which is over here. We're going to start at this line and connect to the Bradwell TV using 2 corner blocks and a straight line piece to connect those. The next item in the list is the personal computer. So we'll connect to the personal computer next.
The functionality could be super useful in this section. You know, just throwing it out there.
The next item is this. No idea what the hell this is. Maybe some kind of like 3D printer or something.
Fun fact, Bradwell's history is such
The next item we have is this 2008 item over here. And then last but not least, we have the brick, which is the substance tech. Create a corner piece to connect. And assuming it's all done properly, the green lights should turn on and the door will open for us.
Congratulations, Dr.
We're going to grab the substance on the ground here and then continue forward.
You chose dogs over cats. Some might say you're barking mad, but all we know is you're one of us now.
Here we need to create ourselves
You've
some
shown that you have
platforms
the
to get
knowledge,
across.
the skills, and most importantly, the loyalty to contribute to Bradwell R&D and help secure the world's future. Now, head to Clean Water and Energy Research via the lifts in the security office. Your Bradwell buddy, Dr. Chowdhury, will meet you in her office to complete your induction experience.
Please
Always
note,
take
exit
blocks
door
with
is
you. Don't leave them
inaccessible due to
behind.
unforeseen
You can actually like
circumstances.
fail the game because of it.
Find you a detour.
Once we get here, take a picture of D14.
The door? No problem. I can do that.
Take a
for you.
picture of D13.
Okay, sure. Accessing the door
At this point,
control.
we're going to start getting some collectibles. One thing I'm going to recommend you do is if you are on Xbox and you want to do this, turn the achievement tracker on. For now, what we're going to do is we're going to have one item. We're going to turn up the transparency, and I'm going to put it in the middle right-hand side of the screen. You don't have to do this step. I just want to make sure all the collectibles are tracking properly, as sometimes it can be a little bit tricky to know if the game knows for sure that you got it. Go across the newly closed door and turn left. Go into this room, which is the recruitment room, and there will be a book of flamingos directly in front of you. You'll notice that you get a little bit of progress towards the bibliography achievement here. Then you go across the D13 door. First, we're going to go to the right-hand side.
Hey, good news. Elevators are
Go
up.
into the side room.
And they're down. They're working again, is what I'm saying.
In this side room, you
And-
want to
and-
interact with
and
this book,
I also
which is
found
the
a way
Chateau
for you
in the
to get
Night.
there.
That'll be our
There's
second
a
book.
vent entrance in
And
the
now
big map
backtrack
room, which should lead you directly back out
to the
atrium.
opposite side. This is an office room with a map out the back. There is a golf book right here we want to pick up. That's now 3 out of 20. And then once we reach the map room, turn right, go through the vent.
Hey, more good news. Got myself some sweet access permissions for water and energy research. We should be all set now.
You can't make a mistake in the vent. You basically just keep navigating it until you reach the end. You do have to make a quick platform here. Bring it with you. You will need the units. You cannot sprint while crouched, unfortunately. Take off the vent, and you'll end up back here.
Well, congrats. You're out of induction.
And now
you're
we
one
can
of
make our way
Bradwell's
through to
greatest
security using
inventions
our
and
new
hands.
tech.
Don't break it.
So make the 2 platforms across the gap.
Anyway, head to the elevators in the security
Go
area.
across and pull
I've
the
got elevators
substance
to
with
check out
you.
myself.
You don't need to, but it helps. There is a substance brick on our left here, and then on the right-hand side, there is a book for us. This is going to be our 4th book. Keep going and then turn to the right. Go up the stairs. You'll notice there's a gap to get into this kind of side office. Bridge the gap with 2 platforms. And then pull the platforms. You actually don't have to pull the platforms with you. We'll leave those. As soon as you enter, directly in front of you on the desk is your 5th book.
Hey, just stepping
A
into
blue
an
book,
elevator,
The
but don't
Mysterious
worry, our
Monsieur.
rides should still keep us connected.
All right, 5 out of 20. And now we
Clean water
can
and
head
energy
down the
research.
stairs. Turn left, go past the metal detectors, into the elevator lobby, and then go into the elevator.
SMP detected.
This elevator,
Full of blueprints
this
and
happens
substances
about
in
4 or
the
5
software
times in the game,
required
but you connect to an elevator and the elevator will completely erase your SMP gun of all of its blueprints and all of its units. This is basically a way for the game to just kind of, cleanse everything you have and restart the puzzles from the beginning. So we are going to need to connect to the elevator, and it'll kind of start the next chapter of the game and erase everything. So it'll fade to black, and we should unlock an achievement or trophy here for
Okay,
just
so,
making progress
I'll
through
see
the
you in
game.
Water and energy research.
Welcome to Clean Water and Energy.
All right, so
Research,
in this
Dr.
next
Sender.
section of the game, collectibles are extremely dense. There's a lot of them in a very short amount of time.
Shortages detected.
So we're going to walk forward. As soon as we exit the elevator, we can find a book
Yeah, I
on the
know,
left-hand
it's
side.
Stupid elevator. Ugh.
And then we can
Freaking
continue
doors
down the
won't
hall.
open. Ugh. You go ahead, see see if you can find Dr. Chowdhury's office.
So our main objective now is to find Mira Chowdhury's office. We're going to enter the atrium. As soon as we enter the atrium, look to your left-hand side to find another book.
Yes, I'm out, finally.
Now what we can do is head kind of into the main section of the atrium.
And you, say hello to Dr. Chowdhury.
One thing you'll want to do here is grab the surfboard for substance. And there is another book here, very important to pick up. Photosynthesis in Algae. Alright, so next we can go into the area over here that is called Office Section A. There is something I'm going to quickly do here. We're going to start picking up some other achievements. So I'm going to just favorite. Why won't it let me make this a favorite? Either way, we're going to configure our achievement tracker to have 3 achievements now instead of 1, as we will start picking up the other types of collectibles. So I'm going to favorite these 3. I don't know why they're not showing up, but all right. So now we're going to enter Office Section A, and on the right-hand side, we will find yet another book on the couches here, and then we can head upstairs.
Hey, I found a bunch
Once
of freight
upstairs,
elevators in the maintenance
go
section.
into
Hang
this
on.
back office.
There. The bad news is they aren't powered
This is
up, so we can't use them
Dr.
just yet. I'll look into
Seger's
it.
office.
In the meantime, you need to find a way to get to maintenance.
Once inside, pick up the substance brick in the box on the right-hand side. You can look in the drawers. There's nothing in them. And then go on the computer. On the computer, you will find your first email. Now, on the emails, press A to play the voice memos when they do exist. So I'm going to press A, and I got my first voice memo as well here. I'm also going to check out the second email, and that should automatically track onto the right-hand side of the screen. Sorry about the pink playing on a secondary profile to make sure everything's kind of on a fresh save. After that office, go to the office down underneath it. This is the meeting room. Inside of the meeting room, the only thing we want to do here is pull the blueprint off the middle of the desk. We should now have 3 units. And now we can head into the office of Mira. Go inside, and what we'll want to do first thing is first, we'll want to interact with the drawer of her desk to pick up a book. Then we will want to interact with this puzzle and pick up the blueprint of the quarter circle. And in this block right here, we want to create this shape. Which should look like this. After doing that, it should open up the drawer. Inside, we can find a substance as well as the glasses, which are very important. Once we pick up the glasses, we can now interact with her computer. Before, it would have been locked. So interact with the computer, make sure the first email tracks, make sure the second email tracks, the third email, and the fourth email. Next to the computer here on the desk, next to the puzzle piece, we can also find like a tablet. So interact with the tablet. You'll find a voice memo here, as well as a second email. I believe the voice memo emails still count as regular emails, so it's kind of like a double collectible. Then we can now head back into the atrium, and we can make our way into maintenance, which should be our main objective. So go into the atrium, through the atrium, into laboratories.
We need to find a way to get more power on the grid.
Once in laboratories, go down the stairs to the left-hand side. And then go into the first door you will see, and this door is the Photobioreactor. There's a couple of different things we can do here. We're going to pretty much go to the back of the room, open up the drawer, and take out the 2 bricks here. Then we will go to the front side of the room and press the button.
Did you push something? I just saw a panel light up.
There's a lot of stuff on screen that shows up sometimes during this game.
Been working on down here. I'll be honest, I don't really know much about photobioreactors.
There is a tablet right here, but we need to kind of get back to it after this little cutscene that's happening right now.
It's using hydrogen-powered fuel cells. Those things are powerful. Amazing, really, when... Uh-oh. Red pop-up boxes are never good. What the hell is happening? Are you okay? And now my screens have gone blank. Do you have any more details?
So once
Tell me what's
everything's
going on.
shaken, you should be able to look to your right-hand side, and the box has fallen off this cabinet, which was revealed the guides for Dr. Ken. Once you have that, you can now interact with the tablet here, and the first email has a voice memo. There's a secondary email, a third email, and a fourth
Hang on,
email.
I
Make
finally
sure all
got an
those
error
tracked.
log to load.
And then take a step back and take a picture
Not just one, but three.
for Amber in order to tell her what's
I
going
have
on
some
with
CO2
all of the screens
extraction
here.
equipment earlier, so I'll go check it out. You, however, need to look into the Algae Pod and pump room situation. If we can fix these, I'm pretty sure I can bridge the fuel cells into the main grid and power those service elevators. Really want to help, but I don't get this one.
All right, so actually I didn't need the picture that time, I guess, but usually I have, so I don't know. We're going to exit the room, and then kind of diagonally across we can find this room, which is Dr. Ken's engineering room. Go inside, and we are going to install the blueprint of the Algae Pod. We can look at this computer, but it doesn't count for collectibles. It just has some back info. A book on the desk right next to it. Make sure we pick that up as well. And make sure you pick up the substance here. And then make sure you interact with this computer. So first email, second email, third email, fourth email. Now, we end up having to go back to this room a lot, but I'm going to do it right now. Exit the room and go back to the Photobioreactor. There's actually a book in here that I just forgot about a little bit. We'll end up back in this room like 3 or 4 times, but make sure you pick up this book then as well, since we are already here. If you want to do a quick check, we have 60% of the book, so 12 out of 20. 36% of the emails, so I think roughly, I don't know, 16 of them probably. And then Audiophile, 30%, 3 out of 10. We can then move on from this room, go into the back here, go through the maintenance door, ignore the elevator, go through the pump rooms, and you'll end up in the water treatment. I don't know if this next section is 100% necessary, but I think we have to go to the left-hand side to be denied.
It's locked. Where are you trying to go?
And then I think if we take pictures of these individual
Water
rings, she can
clarifiers,
actually
which
rotate
are
them
all
for
filled
us.
with the
So we
waste
have to
of the
navigate
past,
these rings
but
to
it's
make
the
our
drink
way
of tomorrow.
across this gap all the way to the other side.
You want to get to the other side. Makes sense. Pump rooms are over there. But how? Oh, I have an idea. I'm gonna try something. Okay. Is one of the clarifier walkways rotating? Can you send me a photo? I need to know which one is moving.
So send her a photo of the
This might
second
actually
walkway.
work. You'll have to send me the numbers of the walkways you need me to rotate. It's a bit of a hack. Each walkway seems to have multiple stopping positions, so you might have to try a few times. To help you cross the wastewater sea.
So we're going to start at number 3. We're going to get onto it and take a picture of 3 to rotate ourselves to 6. Get onto 6. Rotate 6.
No problem.
To get onto 5. Get onto 5. Rotate 5.
5 coming right up.
Rotate 8 to bring it towards you.
8 it is.
Get onto 8. Rotate 8.
One more time.
And then we're going to have to rotate 9, but 9's going to be broken. We're going to have to stop it manually. I'm just going to do that right away. I'm going to put that block we grabbed right here, basically. And I'm going to take a picture of 9.
Got it.
And 9 will rotate around and then get stuck by this.
9. Not sure what to run.
This is the
short
Project
circuited.
PBR. We picked this up
I checked
in
out the
the
walkway.
downstairs
You'll have to
office,
MacGyver your way
not
through
far
it.
from Mira Chaduri's office. And yeah, so it's going to get blocked. We're going to be able to grab on to 9, and then we're going to have to make another block over here in order to stop so we can get across. So I'm just going to create the block right away so I don't have to worry about trying to do it while we're moving, and then I can erase this block here. And now we're across. Make sure you get off before you take these elements back. It can be a little bit tricky to sometimes get some of them back, but we're good to go. Now we are in the next room, which is pump room 3. As soon as we enter, take a left-hand turn into the side office. Make sure to pick up the glasses, and then go on the tablet. On the tablet, the first email has a voice memo.
Don't forget to attend Dr. Giller's birthday celebrations.
For some reason, my achievement tracker seems to have broken. Alright, so for some reason we didn't get progress on our audiophile achievement. We did get progress on all the emails. I have a feeling the audiophile will fix itself on the next collectible we pick up. So for now I'm going to ignore this problem, and the video would only be posted on YouTube if everything is correct. So don't worry, everything's here and we'll figure it out by the end of the game, I promise. Alright, so we'll turn around and we'll go down this walkway and we'll see that there's these beams over here, this wooden plank beam. We'll pick that up, and then we'll make a wooden plank to kind of get onto the water. Once we get onto the water here, we want to pick up these pipes. So make sure you reclaim that pipe. So what we need to do in order to complete this puzzle is connect this beam with this one up here. And we're going to need all of these pieces down here. So we're going to grab those and get those out of the way. And then we're just going to start building. We're going to run out of units, but we're going to have to delete these planks, and we'll figure it out. Shouldn't be too much of an issue. I'm going to delete this plank in the middle for now as well. And let's just start building from the bottom. So the first section here is going to be building outward. Then we should just build upward. Then we can build kind of to the left here, kind of closer towards our goal. Then we can build up again, one level higher. And now what we'll need to do is actually climb up the ladder and kind of get underneath all of that stuff to connect the last few pieces. So once up here, we are going to build this next section. Then what we can do is kind of navigate our way across these beams. We basically need to get underneath the final section here. This should be good, and then delete the 2 planks. And for the final 2 sections, just make sure you don't fall through that hole. You should be able to connect this to the left, and then you can connect this to the final piece. It can be a little bit hard to make it kind of lock into place from here. I don't know why it won't let me rotate. There we go. So now it's all connected. We fixed the pump in pump 3. This is our final solution with 7 pieces, and I have 2 units left. So if you want, you can make that wooden board stick out to kind of give yourself a better angle. And we fixed pump 3, so now we're good to go. Also, I did take a short break in between clips here to try to research why that audiophile achievement didn't track for us. I'm 100% sure we should have 4 out of 10, but we have 3 out of 10 on the tracking. But as we kind of exit, go to the right-hand side and then pick up this book for 13 out of 20. But I think the audiophile might not be tracking because I took a break and kind of quit the game at a point I wasn't really supposed to. I think it'll still work for me, but it should work for you, no problem. Just don't quit the game randomly during a loading screen like I did. Now we're going to work our way back to the laboratories. We are going to go through this vent right here above us, directly in front of us, so we will need at least 1 unit with us. We're going to create a beam to get across here. Once inside of the vent, delete the beam behind us. And now we can get through the vent, which will give us 3 units. I think you actually do need 3 full units here. Now I have 4. And now I'm in this vent area, and down below us, you'll notice these 3 circles. That is where the algae pods fit. Now, the algae pods we picked up from the research room, where some of the emails and computers were.
Nice. Install
Now that
Algae
all
Pod.
3 of the algae pods are good to go,
Tick next to a list item. So beautiful.
we can make our way
Good
back
news.
to
I
the
fixed
office
CO2
here.
supply and connected the hydrogen fuel cells to the main grid. You know what this means. We can try starting the reactor again. So stop whatever you're doing and head back to the photobioreactor.
Actually, we're just going to drop straight down. Don't even build that plank. It's a waste of time. Into the photobioreactor we go. You can take a picture here.
You're doing a great
This
job,
tablet we
but I
did
don't
get, but
this
I'll
picture.
double check it to
Sorry.
make sure. And then push the button.
Great. Here we go.
Obviously, video game buttons don't usually work well. And you can probably anticipate what's going to happen next.
Looks like our work here is done. Ugh, what now? Not again.
This piece falls down, so make sure you pick it up.
Fix the
And then
pipe,
make
quick.
sure you fix the pipe.
This stuff is getting into the ventilation system. Hurry! What? It can't. God, but how?
What?
Yes.
No way.
But I thought
Yeah, so this game has some interesting, like, I don't know,
this is
portals
very bad.
to, like, I don't know. You'll figure it out if you're paying attention. Pick up the substance that left over. Actually, you don't have to. It doesn't do anything.
Forget what you saw. We need to go. Head to the service elevators.
So we're going to go to the elevator, which basically concludes this, like, little chapter of the game. Go through maintenance, and then the elevators are over here. We have to erase our gun and all our blueprints to get to the next area. And, you know, then we continue. All right, so once we gain control here, we are now doing like the medical wing / research wing. This is probably like the longest and most involved chapter, but isn't too bad.
We've made it to
As soon as we enter, walk forward and look to your right in order to find a book on the desk here. Make sure you interact with it in order to grab it. Next, what we want to do is go upstairs here.
See the metaphorical ivory
So go
tower?
up this ramp,
That's whose offices
and then at
are
the
up
top of
there.
the stairs, turn
Start
to your
now
right-hand
and
side
end with Issa.
to head into the office of Dr. Lucia Rova. Make sure you pick up the trophy here, and make sure you go to their desk and pick up the book as well. Then what we can do is enter and go to the office on the opposite side of the upstairs here. This will be the office of Dr. Lawrence Chase. What we want to do is go to the back room and print the trophy on the bookcase in order to get the substance blocks here. And then what we can additionally do is go on their computer. And on their computer, we can find 2 emails we will want to grab. Now what we can do is go out the door, go down the stairs, and then go down the next set of stairs all the way to the bottom here, and you'll find the infirmary. We'll go into the infirmary here and then go into the back room on the left. What we want to do here is go to the washroom in the back, stand next to the sink, stand next to the toilet, take a picture of the toilet if you want. I don't really know what exactly triggers this, but after standing next to the toilet for a couple seconds, just leave the infirmary, and that'll unlock the achievement / trophy called Feeling Flush. Now, in this room, before leaving, make sure you pick up Dr. or Mr. Mark Payne's glasses. And here you can now interact with his tablet. And on his tablet, you can find 2 emails. Make sure both of those track.
I found an Evac Pod on my end. How are you doing finding yours?
Next, what we'll do is go upstairs and go
Oh,
up the ramps and towards
problems with
the
pad tracks in
evac
tunnels.
station.
Hang on, I'll show you. See the red lines? Those are broken track connections.
Just
And the
ignore the
orange one
picture
needs
for
rerouting,
now,
otherwise
and then
I'll be
take a
stuck.
picture
You're
of
right
the
next to
pod
tunnel
in order
entrances,
to
so
give the
congrats.
info
You're in
to
charge of
Amber,
transfer.
and there should be a
Wait,
door
before you
connected
go,
to it
can
in
you
order
send
to
me a
bring
photo
you
of your
out
pod?
and down into
Oh,
this
wow.
next area.
Your pod looks like an all-you-can-eat buffet after lunch. All the good stuff is already taken. You know what? Let me worry about the spare parts for your pod. You just make sure to get the tracks all fixed up. No tracks, no pods, no exit.
All right, now that we are in tunnels, this section can be a little bit complicated, but it's actually not too bad. So what we want to do is first go to the left here, and we're going to basically be reconnecting all of the track. So you'll see that there's like a couple of red spots of track, and there's also these 3 beams which we don't actually end up ever using. So we'll just kind of go in order here, and you can actually go in the water in this game. While you're in the water, you cannot use your substance gun. That's kind of the, you know, the small catch.
Hey, I've got a list of the parts we need for your pod. First one is obvious, the lid section.
So turn left at the intersection.
Second is the Evac control
Put
unit.
one unit. Oh, we don't actually have the unit yet. So erase the unit from the curve here, right as we got out of the water.
Oh, yeah.
This will also give us the blueprint for the straight piece. So you can put one of the straight pieces in from here, and then for the other one, we'll have to kind of come out that door. So just head past the curve section into the water. And then come around here, go through the hallway, and you'll end up on a small balcony where you can actually overlook the water and put in the next piece of track. There's also a substance brick here, so make sure you pick that up, so that you should have this piece repaired and 2 units.
Woohoo! One part of the tracks is connected up.
Now what we're going to do is head back towards the section of the track with the curve. We can't repair that yet, but that's where we want to be. Next to the curve is a generator with a boat. So jump into the water and pick up this piece of track. Actually, we can't do it until we're on the boat. That's fine. Swim past all of this, and we're going to actually take all of these pieces. We'll actually need to go, we'll need to backtrack just a little bit here.
Evac stations, they customize the pods based on individual requirements of patients and staff. Once I've accessed the printer,
I'm going to actually go back here.
Blueprint parts we need for your pod.
This is kind of towards where we started. So that's the elevator, that's the ladder we took down. So if we go to this side area, we actually do have to take a couple of things off the track here really quick. So make sure you take this piece out of the water. It will block you in your boat. And then you can also take this piece out of the track on top. I don't think we need it, but just have as many units as you possibly can for now. Now we'll head back to the curved piece of the track. And what we want to do here is build a straight piece coming out of the dock here, connecting to the boat. And then you'll have the generator here. Make the generator arrow to the right, and then you're going to start it and immediately run onto the boat. Feel free to take the track with you if you want. You don't have to, though. And the boat will now take you across, and you'll see 3 straight pieces overhead that you'll want to build. You don't have to build them while you're on the boat, but it does make life a little bit easier.
Escape depends on a screwdriver. Asking for a friend. Anyway, how are you getting on?
There's actually only 2 pieces. Oh no, it's 3. Don't worry, you won't need to build a ramp off the boat. The boat will touch the dock perfectly, and you can just walk off.
Partial track connection reestablished.
As you walk off,
The required tracks are still disconnected.
pick up the substance brick.
Yes.
Pick up Dr. Nick's glasses, and pick up the blueprint for the curved track. You can also interact with the ladder and dunk it into the water if you want, but we actually are done with this puzzle for the most part. You can just swim back to where you came from. Climb up the ladder and take the straight piece if you didn't get it on your first attempt as you were, whisked away. And then put the curved track into the piece. Now everything is repaired. We have 3 units with us, which is very important before we leave, going through Tunnel C.
But I need your help. Go to the research wing, research lab 2. Oh, and collect as much substance as you can. You'll need it.
I think you need at minimum 2 units with you in order to do the next puzzle. Alright, we're now exiting the evac station, turning left and finding the research wing. As we enter the research wing, on your right-hand side on one of the benches is a book. Then we can turn around and head into Research Lab 1. In the first room, there is nothing, but let me double check, so you can ignore that. Go to Testing Lab, go to the next door, and then in this room, you will have a book on the desk right next to you here. So make sure you read that. And then a computer with 5 voice logs. And as I said earlier in my video, my achievement progress for Audiophile did end up fixing itself, which is super cool. And by the time I read all of these emails, I should be at 9 out of 10 for audio log. Also, we picked up that book. We made sure to do that. We can now go into Research Lab 2. There is a small loading screen in here, so just wait until the door in front of you opens up. Any minute now. There we go. All right, so as you enter this room, you should get a diagram given to you, as well as a blueprint for a diagnostic module.
See the big cylindrical apparatus? I think it's some kind of data storage node device. I want to find out what's on there. It might help us with the blueprints we need for your pod. To access the data, we have to set the device to diagnostic mode. And for that, you'll need this.
So this is a diagram. The diagnostic tools will go in slots A, C, E, and G. So basically they alternate. And we just have to install them. There's a little bit to this puzzle though, so it shouldn't take too long. What we're going to do is take the straight track off. We're then going to take a picture of C.
So, install the diagnostic modules and let me know which cooling tanks you want me to move where. Next station?
Once we grab C, we'll insert it into B.
And the robot arm goes to B with B.
Then we will take E.
E for exit, where we are trying to go.
And we'll move it to H.
H it is, the goalpost of letters.
And then, because we will need to install in G, but we're in water, we need to vacate G temporarily. So we'll take G.
Going G.
And we'll put it in A just for a minute.
Sure. Sending arm to A.
Now this part is where it gets a little bit tricky if you didn't think think about it. You want to reset the robot arm into position.
Okay, we'll park the arm.
You want to put the straight track across it. And now you can basically ride this around the water area.
Go on, robot arm. Off to A you go. No problem. Robot arm.
So we're going to install in G here.
G.
And you're going to be installing the diagnostic module.
Did you hear
You're going to install it again in E.
Off to E.
You can also now install into C.
I'm not too sure. Sorry.
And now get the arm to just take A away.
Going to A, as in...
So we now have one in C, E, and G. And now we're just going to have our arm holding one of the cooling tanks. And then we will install the diagnostic module. And as shown in the diagram, this should work and open up the core for us,
Yes.
which
Awesome.
starts a
Accessing
small
the
little,
core.
dialogue cutscene of
Wait,
a
what?
few minutes.
Equus, that makes...
Warning. Cooling tanks depleted.
We did actually end up using all the units, so we did need all of those units leaving the tunnels underneath.
No. Oh, come on. Come on.
Warning. Core stability at 70%.
Please, not now. Not when... Yes! Got a location for the Evac Pod Lid Blueprint. Just need one for the control unit.
Warning. Core stability at 50%.
No, don't do this to... Found it. Evac control unit blueprint is on Melissa Bradwell's computer. Oh, for Pete's sake, how are we supposed to get in there?
Warning. Core stability at 15%.
Wait, no, I just need to... Wow, this data core is extremely powerful.
Once this data core reaches basically zero, right before it reaches 0%, you have to snatch it
okay,
by,
I got
like,
what we need.
basically absorbing the substance material.
The
So just
core,
make sure you
we're cleaning
press
the core
X
now.
when it tells you to suck it up. And the office in the back here should now be open. This is the office of Dr. Kevin Malcolmson.
Control unit on Melissa Bradwell's computer. Oh, one sec. During my data search, I came across this image. It kind of looks important. Good luck breaking.
This should
into
give us a
the
passcode
office.
2007
I'll go
for
and touch
something
the
later.
Evac
We'll
Pod
ignore
Lid
that for now.
The biohazard section. Oh man, universe. Amber here, looking for a break to catch.
All right, we're going to enter this back office. Once we're here, we are going to interact with the book, number 18 of 20. And we are going to pick up the glasses. And we can now leave.
Welcome back, Dr. Malcolmson. You have one urgent message from John Bradwell. Playing now.
Kevin, it's me. I took a look at the documents you sent me. Melissa is refusing to see sense. Look, I've given you temporary access to the house. Now come as soon as you can. I won't have long before they ferry me up to the surface for the museum party tonight.
We're basically headed upstairs into the original room we started in. So go back to the evac station, go past all of it, go upstairs. And at the end of the hallway, there was a private wing door, which is now open.
Maybe you can get into the tower from there. Woohoo! I'm actually the bearer of good news this time. I recovered the Evac Pod Lid Blueprint from the biohazard
You're
section.
now gaining
And
access
now,
into the
I'll head
house.
back to the evac station and run a
As
full
soon as you're
system check.
inside, go to the right-hand side,
So
find your
disappointed.
19th out of 20 books. All right. The next thing we want is we want to pick up Shelly from this little cabinet. And then pick up Troy from next to the desk. And then we need to stack them on the wall here. So I believe Shelly goes on the left and Troy goes on the right. Done correctly, the bookcase behind the desk should open up for us. Then turn left and go up the stairs.
Guide communications are disabled in this area of
In the
facility.
passcode, you're going to put
Goodbye.
2007, which will open up the staircase for us. Make your way to the top floor now. And there are a ton of collectibles here, so make sure you're paying attention. In the first office, it's John Bradwell's office. We are going to pick up his glasses and then go to his computer.
Mr. Bradwell. According to the schedule, you
His
should be
computer
able to
has
access
a
as
bunch
requested,
of
Mr. Bradwell.
emails. Make sure you grab all those. In the next room, we have the meeting room. There's nothing here except a substance block. I'm going to pick it up, although I don't know if we need it. In the next office, this is Melissa Bradwell's office with the trickiest collectibles out of all of them. Go to her desk and look at her computer. The first one has a voice memo, so we should unlock all 10 out of 10 of those and the Audiophile achievement or trophy.
I beg you.
It'll have a second email, a third email, a fourth email, as well as a fifth email that has a blueprint we need for the story.
Melissa,
So make sure you grab that.
please.
Now back out, and the trickiest emails are just to the left of this computer is a television that looks completely broken, and there have been 50 TVs just like this in the game, but for some reason, this one specifically has a couple of emails we'll want to grab. It has a total of 3 files we want. If you want to do a quick check, we should be at 95% of the books and 93% of the emails. And we're actually now just going to pretty much finish this little chapter off by going down the stairs, back to the evacuation station, and assembling our pod, and then hopping right on in. The door through the house will be locked, so now we have to take a slightly different door. Exit the house and back to the evacuation station.
Did you find the evac blueprint?
Evac control unit blueprint was successfully installed.
Wow, guide! How nice of you to finally show up to the Let's Be Helpful party.
Obviously, sprint through all of this by pressing in the left stick. Once inside, assemble your pod, put the control unit at the top, put the window on top, and then interact. This should bring you to the next chapter of the game, as well as unlock an achievement or trophy, I think, for just progression. I think it will be, you know, just for completing the medical wing, I believe is what it's called. I will rejoin you back once we get control of our character again. Also, you will see Amber for the first time in the game, I believe, right now, which is kind of cool.
A disaster. I know I wouldn't have been able to get through it without you. Hey, hello you. I can see your face. So glad you have one. Only minutes away from freedom. Finally.
Don't relax too much, Amber.
Melissa?
I was wondering when you'd finally show up. Look at the mess you've caused.
I...
Lost for words? Or are you mute like your friend? Do they know what you did? Hacking into my accounts? Stealing files about my project? Thinking you could hide your research on how to generate Bradwellium?
You knew?
We knew someone was hacking our systems. So we planted a little disinformation and a trail of breadcrumbs to lead back to your secrets.
Right. Of course you did. Look, Melissa, I don't get everything about what you're planning, but I know you're setting up some kind of massive system to, what? Do surveillance on vast numbers of people? That's unconscionable.
Is it? I'm comfortable with my moral compass. How about you? Did you tell your new friend you were responsible for the explosion?
No, I mean, I...
Thought as much. You've done enough. Security will be with you shortly.
Melissa? Melissa! Damn. She's right. I did it. So many people in danger, and I nearly killed you. I didn't mean to, though. It was an accident. Well, I was trying to expose what she's up to. I'm so sorry. I wanted to tell you, but I...
Approaching scheduled maintenance stop. Please stay in the evacuation pods until help has arrived.
Look, I know you've got no reason to trust me.
All right, so once we come here and get to a stop, we want to take the kind of protective shield off the front here, and we also want to turn around, look up, and take the control unit with us to make sure we have as many units as possible. Then we can drop down. I don't know what happens if you drop down without taking the control unit above you. It almost feels like there's not enough units to get through the rest of the game. Walk forward through the door on your left into the excavation area, and there is a substance brick near the ramp we will need to pick up, or want to pick up at the very least, and then we will make our way up the ramp here and through the door. Now we'll be creating a bridge using the Evac Pod shield in order to bridge the gap across.
An intelligent surveillance system.
You should be able to do this with 2 as long as you get a decent amount of speed at the end. You should be able to kind of like hop off the edge and make it, but we're going to be safe and create 3 every time. And as soon as we cross, we're obviously going to also make sure to turn around and pick up anything we left behind that we can reach, because all of this stuff ends up being super useful for us, and we're going to actually need it. In the next area, go through the door, turn to the right, and head down the tracks. Look to your left-hand side, and you'll find a vent, and you can start crawling through that vent. What you're supposed to do in this area is kind of like go to every corner, and you'll realize that, you know, the doors are getting locked in front of you, and then eventually you'll stumble upon this vent, although it can be a little bit difficult to find if you don't know what you're looking for. Just progress through the vents. You'll end up in a red room here coming up. A couple turns. You can't really make too many mistakes. If you do, it's just a little short back travel. I can't speak today. Into the red room, and then take a right-hand turn at the end into the next vent, and we are off. There are only a few collectibles left as well. They'll all be found basically in the same room coming up. Once you drop down this hole, I think you need at least 2 units with you. If you don't have 2 units, like I didn't on my first playthrough, I actually had to go to the main menu and restart like the entire section. But walk forward, go to your left and through to the other side of the hallway, then go up the ramp and through the door, and then we'll create a bridge using the Evac Pod shield. We'll probably need 3, or I'm going to use 3. You can probably get away with 2 if you're careful. And once across, make sure to turn around and bring these with you as well. And then in this next hallway, we can find all of the last collectibles we need. I turned off the achievement tracker because we don't really need it anymore. In this hallway, in the right-hand side door, it should be automatically opened. Go inside and find your 20th out of 20 books on the desk right here. This should unlock the Bibliophile achievement if you've been following along and you've had no problems with achievement or trophy progress. And just behind that is a computer with your last 3 emails, bringing you from 93% to 100%. You will have to scan all 3 individually, and you should also get the achievement here for Inbox Zeroed for getting all 44 or 45 of the emails. And we're done with collectibles now. All we have to do is kind of just get through the game for a bit here. Drop down into the trench, turn left, follow up the ramp, turn left again, and then just follow into the next room. We do still have a fair bit of the game to go. I would say probably roughly 20 to 25 minutes. Once you reach this ladder, go up the ladder. A fair bit of the end of the game is kind of just waiting for certain dialogue and certain story options to unveil themselves. But we still have a couple of like really dense puzzles. Once up here, I actually just missed my exit. You can get lost a little bit here. I ended up making my way to the end here. I kind of just forgot what to do. There's just a ladder at the end of the hall you need to take, so make sure you take that ladder. And yeah, I did film this video in a couple chunks, so if the commentary sounds a little bit like in a different style or I have a morning voice, it's because I'm filming this audio in the morning. But I think it still, you know, generates a pretty good walkthrough at the end. I always watch these things back to make sure they're accurate and make sure you guys are getting a good experience on your end. Go through the vent will crash. You will end up in this large area, which is one big, long puzzle. The puzzle's not really that hard at all. It does involve a little bit of quick timing, and it involves a little bit of maybe, you know, trial and error and making sure to do things in the right order. So to start this, what we want to do is, at the very beginning, just go to the center console with the big Bradwell logo and wait here for about a minute or 2 until the console turns on.
We can shut them down. Okay.
Once the console is available, the button will be able to be pressed, so go ahead and press it. And once you do that, you should unlock a progression-based achievement or trophy, and then there will be a pretty long story-specific set of kind of cutscenes. If you want to pay attention to the story, I would stand right here and just wait. I'm going to try to end up like walking around and inspecting some stuff. I don't actually end up really doing anything important. But if you do want to pay attention to the story, just stay up there and wait for all of the dialogue to exhaust itself. There's some pretty cool stuff happening in this game. I didn't want to like spoil it too heavily. You guys can kind of draw your own conclusions as you play. This is probably like the big climax of the story.
Arac interface established.
What? That's me. It must be capturing my guide feed. Wait. What the fuck? It's in my fucking head. My thoughts. It's recording my thoughts. Are you seeing this? Equus is neural. It's in people's minds. Get out! Get out! Get the fuck out of my head! We have to stop this! The nodes. We need to open them now. My lungs are stunning. I can't put the system into diagnostic mode. Guide?
Diagnostic mode unavailable. Data beam mirror missing. Please check lower platform.
Go to the lower platform now!
This is crazy. My lungs are stunning. That is insane. The substance I breathed in earlier.
Yeah, Equus. We need to open the nodes and claim the substance cores. I don't understand why Melissa is doing this. It's totally insane, even for her. Is it really about money?
So you see me running around here. None of this matters, like I said previously. This was all just me trying to see what was down here to make sure I knew exactly what was going on. And I was basically just waiting for all of the dialogue to exhaust itself. After everything is done, Amber will eventually mention that you need to install a mirror into a system underneath you. So from that console, after all of the dialogue is done, you can climb down the ladder and find the mirror on the boxes to my left. And then once you have the mirror, install it. You should have brought the units with you. You should have brought 3 units with you, and then the 4th unit would have been the mirror. Install the mirror, and you can now move on. So you're going to do node number 1 here. For node number 1, just walk over using the bottom. Pick up the 2 kind of blades, control blades here. And there's one on the table and then one on the unit. Open up the unit and then install the blades into slots A and C. So the first one and the third one. Once you do that correctly, this computer screen should give you a sync code, and then you'll want to look at the sync code and take a picture. This will allow Amber to move the tracking laser or whatever onto the next node. So what you want to do as soon as you take a picture of the sync code, you want to take the ladder up and then make sure you grab the core within 30 seconds. So yeah, it feels like it's not a lot of time, but it is a lot of time. You have 30 seconds to climb up the ladder and take the core, and that should allow you to reclaim core number 1. We'll have to repeat similar processes for core 2 and 3 and A. However, there's, slightly different steps and slightly different things we need to do. So now that that is done, you'll see that the mirror laser in the middle is now pointing to number 2. So we'll walk over to number 2 using all of the platforms underneath. And then once we are here, open up the control unit and install blades in slots B and D, or 2 and 4. There should be already one in B, so I just installed one in D. Take a picture of the sync code, and we'll need to quickly run to the elevator here. I thought I could prime the elevator earlier on in the video. You can't. So as soon as you install them, go to the elevator and call it, climb inside, take the elevator up, and then basically run a big circle to claim the core. You can try to also run back to the center platform, take the ladder, and then go above, but I don't think you have enough time. I think this is specifically designed for you to take the ladder. So the elevator. So take the elevator, loop around, and grab the core right here. And now you should have number 1 and number 2 done. For number 3, you'll see that the laser is blocked by some items that are being held up by a crane. Amber will make her way onto the crane controls, kind of down and to your right. You can actually see her run there. But unfortunately, the crane will break because video game reasons. And what you'll need to do is go to node number 3. There, you can't actually make your way downstairs there, so you'll be at the top area. And you'll have to wait for Amber to mention to you that there might be a fuse box. And as soon as she does that, the fuse box right next to me here will be able to be opened. Inside will be a blown fuse. Just press the red button to turn it green, and you should be done. I took a picture of the fuse box thinking that she was kind of waiting for my input. The game just kind of has a bunch of dialogue options. So I took a picture, I opened it, I flicked the red switch, everything turned green. The crane is now back online, and she will now move the crane in order to connect the 3rd core. Again, we just gotta wait a little bit of time here. And then last but not least, we'll have Core A. We do have 6 units right now, and then the core behind me will also open up to reveal a couple more units. So I think we'll need a decent amount of units for the last puzzle. I think we need 8 or maybe 6. We'll see.
Okay, this should do the trick.
So as soon as it connects, you have to take a picture of core number 3. This will tell Amber that you are ready to accept her opening the core, I think. And so I sent her the picture, and as it opens up, just snatch it up within the 30 seconds. This one's obviously probably the easiest in terms of timing. After that, we now have Core A left. So to get Core A, I'm going to go to the middle platform, and then I think I'm going to take the ladder down here, which is probably the best way to do it. And after we take the ladder, just use the platforms here at the bottom in order to navigate your way there. There's a couple blueprints there. There's a couple pieces of substance we'll need to pick up. And then just we'll be installing a bunch of things and snatching up the last core. So on your way here, you want to snatch up the blueprint for these fuel cells. There's a couple of them. And basically you have to install what I believe are 8 of them in a circle around the middle of the core. So there are actually a couple more in the back that you can use to gain more units if you need the units. I ended up having a little bit extra, so we're actually good to go. After you install 8, you'll also notice the lights turning from red to green. Once all of them are green, when you go to the computer at the front, it should also turn on. This should activate a button for you, and after you press it, you will have 30 seconds to claim the node above you. So I'm going to press it. I'm going to pick up these units even though we don't ever end up using them, and climb the ladder, and then snatch up the core from the center. After you snatch up the core from the center, there will be a somewhat long series of unskippable kind of dialogues and events that happen in the game. Feel free to pay attention to them. However, we will need to end up in the middle platform after they're done. So I'm going to go to the middle platform, and on my way there, a lot of the story will unfold.
San Francisco, Washington, D.C., New York,
No. Oh, God.
Zurich, Baghdad, Mumbai, Hong Kong, Singapore, Sydney, Los Angeles, Sao Paulo, Lagos, Cape Town, Cairo, Moscow, Dubai, Tokyo.
Shit! These are all the cities for the Clean Water Initiative. Melissa, she's using the Clean Water Initiative to expand Equus across the whole freaking world.
Equus, version 2.0, status at 90%. 20 nodes required for completion.
We're in luck. The upgrade is not operational yet. There's no way we can reclaim all these cores. Go back to the Equus console. We need to find out where Melissa is right now and stop her.
Connection to Equus interface established.
Okay, good. Locate Melissa Bradwell.
Locating Melissa Bradwell. Melissa Bradwell located. Neural link with Narak interface established. Receiving audio-visual data stream.
Fleur, is everything in place?
Yes, we've just finished calibrating the emitters as per the instructions you gave us.
Good. Proceed with phase 2 immediately. We've lost too much time already.
Of course, Ms. Bradwell.
Have Amber and her guests been intercepted yet?
Not yet. They seemed to...
I don't care about excuses. I just want them found.
Yes, miss.
Keep me updated. I've more pressing matters to deal with.
End of audio-visual data stream.
That's where substance was originally found. I've spent the last 6 months working in those caves. That's where we need to go. Oh, look!
Once all this story is figured out, all we want to do is basically turn around and exit the area through the newly opened doors. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the story. I actually thought this part of the game was pretty interesting, and definitely better than a lot of the other games that I've played for Gamerscore. So, exit the area through this newly opened door, not far from where we entered. Go through the door and then follow the hallways, so through the door. At the top of the stairs, I believe we turn right. However, I accidentally turned left for just a second here. So we're going to just follow the hallways, basically. And we'll reach a large room with kind of like an excavator-type machinery unit in the middle. And we will need at least 3 units of substance. You can maybe get away with 2. I'd say probably 3 is the amount you want minimum. And all you want to do is go forward and then get onto this giant unit of... I don't even know what this unit does, to be honest. I wasn't paying enough attention, clearly. It's some kind of, excavator. But on the unit, you want to basically create a bridge across it using the Evac Pod shield. So I'm gonna try to get away with just 2 here, but then I realize I can't. I wanted to see if it was possible to do this with only 2 units, but it does seem like you need at least 3 units of substance. After you make your way across, feel free to pull these units with you. You don't really need them, but every unit helps. It just makes things easier later on in the game. And then if you walk forward onto the excavator, you'll get a short little loading screen here, and we make our way to the last area of the game. Upon spawning, walk forward, and you'll just navigate your way through the path. So I'm going to stay on the right-hand side, go down the alleyway here, go up the ramp, and then hook a right onto the main platform. There's a bunch of buildings you can kind of explore here. Nothing in them. On my first playthrough, I could have sworn there would be some collectibles in these buildings. Prime collectible locations. Any devs watching, you missed out on your chance. Just continue forward, though, and through the big kind of blast door. You'll notice that this is basically the last puzzle. It's one giant puzzle, which is pretty interesting. However, it can be a little bit finicky, so hopefully you don't have any trouble getting everything to behave the way it's intended. As you walk in, there'll be a giant portal in front of you. Just walk straight at it. On the right-hand side, once you kind of approach it, there is a small, platform of scaffolding. There are 2 wooden planks on it. We'll snatch those up. The first one will be a blueprint, and we'll also get the extra substance. Then we will drop down and go to the left of the giant portal in the room. There should be a little bit of substance on your right-hand side here as you pass. This will be a substance brick. And you'll notice that it says cell number 1. So there's like 6 or 7 of these cells kind of littered around. All we want to focus on is cell number 1, 2, and 3. We'll have to kind of destroy them in order. So make sure you pick up the mining mirror here. Pick up the fuel cell for extra substance. I have 11 units. I don't even think I use half of them, but it's always good to have them just in case. After all of the dialogue exhausts itself, what you want to do is take a picture of this excavator or this mining laser that Amber is standing next to. This will speed up the process and basically force her to go to it and turn it on. If you just wait and sit around, she will eventually get onto this mining laser on her own. It'll just take her like 30-40 seconds to figure it out for you. Once you don't really... The game just assumes you don't know what to do, so it just does it for you. So she starts shooting that laser. The laser doesn't hurt you until it's just like a guiding laser for now. And ignore what I'm doing right now. You don't really need to do it. I thought I didn't have the correct piece I needed. I ended up having the piece. We gained it in the previous area as part of the story. I think we got it off of like Melissa Bradwell's computer like forever ago. So the piece we're looking for is this piece. It has 2 45-degree angles and then like a flat bit kind of running behind them. You should have this piece from one of the previous areas. And essentially you're just trying to place it in a way for the blue laser to rebound and hit cell 1. Once it does this, all you want to do is take a picture to let Amber know that you have the puzzle solved. And once you do that, she will tell you to stand in the safe area. And then once you stand in the safe area, which is over here, she will use the laser and blast it. and this will destroy cell number 1. We then need to repeat the same steps for cell 2 and cell 3, which are all kind of scattered around the map. And this puzzle is actually pretty fun to solve. If you want to try to solve it for yourself, you can. There is only really one like proper solution, which is a little bit unfortunate. But after destroying cell number 1, we want to rebound the laser in the opposite direction. So instead of kind of to the right, you want to go to the left and across the entire gap. You also want to see the laser and then see that the laser bounces directly vertically up once it reaches the other side. So you need to make sure it bounces up, and then we can run on over there. And you want to try to position the laser to be as far to the right as possible, or else it can be a little bit hard to deflect this next step. Get onto the scaffolding, and here we'll want to use the other piece that we gained. It's a slightly different looking mirror, so instead of that, it kind of has like a, it's almost like a little bit of a hood or a dome or a roof, and then we'll be able to deflect it kind of forward. You want to place this one as forward as possible. This one can be a little bit tricky because if it doesn't bounce like properly, sometimes the laser can get a little bit misaligned and then it becomes a problem later on. So just make sure it's like a nice clean bounce. Near the top, we want to switch back to the double 45-degree angle one and shoot it straight across here into the next little mirror. So here you can see kind of exactly what we're doing. And then once it bounces off that mirror, just set up another 45-degree angle mirror to cell number 2 in order to destroy it. And take a picture. Once you take a picture, Amber will say she's ready to fire the lasers, and she'll just ask you to stand in the safety zone. Again, stand in the safety zone, and this will destroy cell number 2.
And fire.
After destroying cell number 2, feel free to walk forward and just grab the mirror unit you had before if you do need the units. So we don't need that one. Now we're going to be reflecting the mirror onto this bit that I'm looking at over here. So we're going to use the 45-degree angle and then basically make it go to the right-hand side. And then we're going to reflect it again to make it go forward into the scaffolding. And it'll hit a mirror that will shoot the laser directly up. You want to also position this one so that it's a nice clean line. And then head up onto the scaffolding and then use the kind of hood mirror in order to shoot it across the gap. Make sure it's, you know, turned the way you need it, and then shoot it across the gap. It can form a connection across the gap. That is not necessary. It's just a good kind of, it's a good way to like line it up just so that the puzzle's easier to solve once you do reach the other side, but you don't need to actually line that one up. Now we're just going to follow the laser and go kind of receive it on the other end here. I believe we'll need at least 4 units in order to solve this last little step. So go up the kind of where we came from, up the ramp, and then hook around to the left and keep going up the ramp. You'll find cell number 3 on the right-hand side here.
But either way, I don't want to listen to it.
And once we find cell number 3, we need to deflect into it. So I'm going to line up myself with cell number 3 so that everything's nice and straight. We're going to walk towards kind of the dam here, and we have to build the wooden planks out onto the dam. I think we need at least 3 of them. And then on the plank itself, you want to build the mirror to guide the laser onto unit 3. And then once you do that, for me, I actually ended up like spawning it under myself. Once it's all lined up, though, take a picture, stand back, and let Amber take out cell number 3. And then, yeah, a bunch of stuff will happen. The game's not quite over yet. There's still a little bit of stuff to go. And I can give you guys a little bit of some pointers and tips if you want to experience the game in different ways. There is only really like one ending, but you can kind of play it differently, so to say, I think. There might be more than one ending. Let me know in the comments down below if you ended up getting something different. As soon as you take out cell number 3, run forward. I'm going to take the units with me. You don't need them. You only need to have 1 unit with you at the end of the game. So make sure you have at least 1. But climb into the newly opened blue pipe next to where the dam was. And once you go up this pipe, walk forward
Breathe, Amber.
and
Breathe.
through the office door,
Okay.
then through the next office door,
Is staying alive
and
during this has
then
gotten a lot
through
harder
the
lately.
cracked, broken
All
glass,
the
and through the
substances
next
free.
door.
Just need to close the orb.
And once through this door, we have to do a lot of waiting in this area. But
Any
pick up the
ideas?
substance brick here if you do have, for some reason, 0 units. You'll need it. And then what we can do is we can interact with the crane controls next. I believe we will need to take a picture of them, as I just did. However, taking a picture of them, it does take a while for that picture to be delivered, as it only gets delivered once all of the dialogue is over. So once all the dialogue is over, the picture should go from delivered to seen. And at that point, you should be able to just press the crane control button. I believe if you wait in this area and don't press the button right away, you will get kind of more story and more dialogue unfolding. We're going to just kind of try to go as fast as possible, click the button. Now what we can do is head out of the door from this room, and Amber will ride the crane over to you, and you'll be able to spawn a reflecting mirror on the platform. It'll automatically lock into place for you, so you don't really have to worry about where it is.
Now let's see if I can line
And
the
then
mirror
you
up
can
with-
go back into the
Wait,
room,
I can't
and you
fire
can
the
find
laser. I
the
lost
mining
tablet
laser
earlier.
button.
You have to do it.
Basically,
Go back inside.
as
There
soon
must
as
be a
this
way to
button
fire the
becomes
laser.
available to
Quick.
press, you can press it if you want. This will basically end the game. However, if you sit there and don't press the button, things kind of happen a little bit differently. You get a little bit more story, you get a little bit more tension, you get a little bit more character interaction. So play the ending however you so desire. For the purposes of keeping the video nice, short, and sweet, I'm going to click the button as soon as it becomes available. This therefore basically leads me to the very end of the game, where there is a short cutscene, then the credits roll, and your final achievement or trophy should unlock. You should now have the 12 out of 12 on Xbox for 1,000, or what I believe is a 13 out of 13 on PlayStation, including a platinum trophy. The frame rate also goes to complete shit at the end of the game, and it is just garbage. But hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. That is the Bradwell Conspiracy. Thank you so much for watching my walkthrough. If you did find it helpful, I would really appreciate if you dropped a like, share the video with a friend. Consider pledging on Patreon if that's something you want to do. Again, that's obviously voluntary, but I very much appreciate everyone who does. Special thanks to 00, and hopefully I see you guys soon. Peace.
We did it. We really did it. Hey, you.